for the next couple of minutes. We've talked all this week about different things, but the main point I've made this week is that we're one choice away from a different life. You need to look close. I'm going to share a story out of the Bible. It's a very true story. And about a young man, listen to me, that faced some troubles just like me and you. But I want to share with you that we're one choice away from a different life. You see, here's the deal. Tonight, by the way, we've got all kinds of, these giveaways, and I just found out that these two giveaways that I told you, I need to look at me and listen. I found out one is going to be for an adult, and one is going to be for a student. When I said these were $250, now here's what it is. It's $250 in cash. And so, the student that brings the most students, here's the deal. You that bring the most visitors, they haven't been here all week, and you bring family members and whoever, the one that brings the most, that one student will win $250. The adult. This is just for the adults, for them just to draw. So if you get them here, let them know that they're going to have a separate drawing from you. And that adult, it could be a mom, it could be a grandparent, a step-parent, a dad, they will win $250. Now, this week we've given away a lot of things. I need everybody looking this way. I want everybody to sit up. I want everybody to look this way. You've done a fairly good job. It's not easy for you to get up here and jump, do all that stuff, and then turn around and just like that, calm down. But you know what? That's how life is. Sometimes you've got to stop what you're doing and listen. I believe this, that we were created more unique than anything that was created. If you read, and tonight I'm going to share my entire story. You're going to hear about my mom. You're going to hear about my sister, my dad. You're going to hear about some of my family, some things that I went through, and then what changed my life. We know that that's Jesus, but everybody look this way. You can't be talking. I'm watching a couple of you. I'm just watching, which means you're not looking at me. If you ain't looking at me, then you're not listening. You see, and all we're asking you to do is just listen for a few minutes. Do you understand that you've come here? I've spoke 3 times a day for the last 3 days. We've not asked you to give us $1 or $1. Tonight they're having pizza at 5:30, free pizza again. So we're feeding you. We're giving you, some are getting prizes. You're getting some incredible music. And all we ask you to do in the midst of all that is for maybe about 15 minutes, sit and just listen. Because see, the problem is we have a hard time listening. By the time I was your age, I was pretty screwed up. I didn't become a Christian until I was 16. Everybody say, choose to live. Everybody look this way. When I ask you to speak, I want you to sound as one strong voice. Everybody say, choose to live. See, every day we make all kinds of. Right now you're making a. Fill in the blank with the word choice. You're always one away from a different life. If you're listening, say I am. See, there's no way you can be listening when you're up here talking to this person in front of me. I want you looking this way. Look at me. Here's the bottom line. Guys, when I get on to you, it's not because I'm trying to be a big bad wolf or to impress you. I'm doing it because I care. And see, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, if you want to be smart people learn from their own mistakes. But let me give you this news flash. Wise people learn from other people's mistakes. Here's the deal. We didn't get to choose our physical birth. If I'd been choosing my physical birth, my eyes would be naturally blue. I wouldn't have to buy contacts to make them blue. If I was choosing my physical birth, I'm 6'2". I'd have been about 6'5", so I could dunk more than a donut. You'll get that later. Thank you. A couple of you got it. If I was choosing my physical birth, I wouldn't have been born in Virginia. I'd have been born in Texas. That's where I live. If I'd have been choosing my physical parents, my birth parents, I'd have chosen parents that loved me. I didn't have that. Like some of you. And with the exception of suicide, by the time I was 10, after one of my dads beat me one night pretty good till I bled, I cleaned the blood off the back of my legs, grabbed a bottle of aspirins, I saw it on TV, and I just started taking the aspirins. Here's the deal. I didn't want to die, but I wanted the pain to stop. Here's the deal. With the exception of suicide, you don't know when you're going to die or how. You couldn't choose your birth, so the question is, what do I get to choose? I'm going to give you the answer, then I'm going to give you one story. Everybody say, every day, I choose how I live. Look at me. Look at me. Look. You choose a certain attitude. Some of you right now are still not listening. I can see it. And all you've got to do for a few minutes, we're not asking you to do a whole lot. We're asking you to bring people. We're asking you to come. We're going to give away a lot of gifts. But here's the deal. The whole reason we're doing this whole deal is to help you make better choices. Now I'm going to ask you to make a good choice to do something. Before this week is out, I wish that you would write each one of your teachers a class that you've missed. And I wish each one of you would write your teacher a personal note to say, hey, thanks for letting us get out of class for 3 days. Thank you for letting us go. And then do this. How many of you this week, you've come forward and you've accepted Christ this week into your life? Now put them down. Now look here. You that did that, you need to write in your note. I want you to know that this week I became a Christian. And I'm going to try to live and be different. If you're listening, say I am. Everybody ought to be looking this way. Shouldn't be looking down, shouldn't be looking away. The other thing we're going to ask you to do is write your principal a letter. Now look at me. The reason I'm asking you to write your principal a letter because this almost didn't happen today. Yesterday afternoon when we were done, we had a meeting with the superintendent, school board. Jeff and Andy met with them, and they were going to shut this down, and we almost didn't have this today. But we told them what was going on, and so they said, we'll go ahead and do it one more day. Your principal allowed that to happen. The reason I'm telling you to write that principal letter, if we want to do this again next year, and do we want to do it again next year, yes or no? Look at me. It could be bigger and better, and if you'll write those letters, look at me, if you'll write your letters to a teacher, and to your principal, I can make you a promise. They're going to go, wow. They took time to write us a thank you note. Maybe this thing did work. Now everybody say choose. To live. There's a guy in the Bible, his name is David. David, the Bible says, was a man after God's own heart. He was a little short dude. How many of you have heard the story of David and Goliath? If you have, say I have. Listen to me. David was a little short dude. The dude could sing. The dude could write. He was a shepherd, but this is the deal. David was also one in charge of an army. And here's what the Bible says in 2 Samuel. It says this. There was a day that the kings were supposed to be going to war. Look at me.